Hey, are you guys sick and tired of the Republicans and MAGA supporters calling everything woke? Anti-racism, that's woke. Fighting climate change, that's woke. Supporting human rights, including the LGBTQ plus community, that's woke. On and on. Today we'll look at that with Mark S. Bacon, author of The Woke and the Dead. It's a novel that was inspired by right wing and hate group philosophies and prejudices. It makes good trouble. Mark Bacon began his career as a Southern California newspaper police, one of his crime stories becoming key evidence in a murder case that spanned decades. After working for two newspapers, Mark became a copywriter for Knott's Berry Farm, a California theme park. Experience working there helped inspire his creation of the Nostalgia City theme park, now the setting for five of his novels. With an MA in journalism, Mark also is the author of several popular business books. Hey, Mark, welcome to the Lean to the Left podcast, my friend.
Thanks, Bob. Glad to be here.
The Woke and the Dead opens with a murder that the media labels a hate crime. But the bigoted Arizona, I love this guy, but the bigoted Arizona Governor Rod Gudgel poo-poos that and denigrates the woke media. What prompted you to target woke in this book?
I think the same things that you talked about when you first started about what the right considers woke.
Yeah,
Actually, up until a few years ago, I really wasn't tuned into woke. I'd heard the word a couple of times and really
right,
wasn't sure what it meant. I
right.
finally got tuned into it thanks to the derogatory things that the right was saying about the term. So I paid a little bit more attention. And woke is really just DEI in a different format. And so I used that as the as title because I thought it would be interesting and attention getting, and it fits Governor Rod Gudgel to a T. He is the anti-woke.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so explain to me what woke means to you.
Woke to me means inclusivity. It means acceptance. It means anti-prejudice. Pretty
Yeah, so
much,
why is it so bad? I don't understand why the Republicans are so anti-woke.
yeah, I wish I knew too, Bob.
Yeah,
It ties in my book, I don't know if you mentioned it, has a lot to do with hate groups.
yeah.
And these days it's hard to tell the difference between the things that hate groups are saying and the things that the alt-right politicians are saying and doing. So woke is a big part of it. It's a target. It's belittling people. It's belittling people on the left.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tell me this. Who inspired the creation of Governor Gudgel? And by the way, where did his name come from?
His name I just pulled out of the air. It's authors. A friend of mine always tells me that authors pick every name in their books for a particular reason,
Yeah.
and there's some kind of symbolism or something behind it. But that's really a crock because the average novel like mine has 25, 30 characters in it, and I'm not sitting down looking for the symbolism in it. But
Right.
Guttural, just it's guttural and it sounded good. What was the other part of the question?
Who inspired the creation of Governor Gudgel?
Oh, he's an amalgam of people. I try to do that with all my characters, both the protagonists and the bad guys,
Yeah.
not seeming to be exactly like somebody else. I want my characters to be different, but I also want them to be realistic, although
Right.
not necessarily real.
Well, there was a sheriff out there back in the during the first Trump administration, I guess it was. Does this kind of track that guy? He was a wacko.
Yeah, I wish I could remember his name now.
Yeah, I
He was
can't remember it either.
sheriff of Maricopa County,
Yeah.
which the county where Phoenix is located. And I don't know if you mentioned my theme park is in Arizona,
Yeah.
um, which is
Okay.
why everything in the story takes place there. As a matter of fact, I hadn't thought about that whack job in a long time, but he certainly fits
Yeah,
the
he
bill.
fits the description, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Okay. So the story weaves in murder, hate groups, corruption, homophobia, racism, and corporate espionage. Where did the idea come from for this book? I guess you maybe explained what when we were talking about woke, right?
Yeah, I wanted to target and expose that thought process, that philosophy. I get most of the ideas for my books from things in the news, and
Mm.
obviously, anti-woke has been in the news a lot. And something told me that a governor fighting a theme park, which happens to be the largest and the only one in the state, might make for an interesting story. And it starts, as you said, with the governor saying that a person who caters gay weddings being murdered at an LGBTQ event was absolutely not a hate crime. And it just goes on from there.
Yeah.
I want,
I
I
was
wanted
wondering why you picked LGBTQ as the group that you based this on. Just because it worked?
because it worked, because they're like a lot of other groups, Latinos and people of different races, different religions are all the target.
Right.
And it seemed it seemed like an interesting idea to
Okay.
have an LGBTQ event at a theme park, which I think
Mm.
is pretty common these days. I believe
Mhm.
Disney is doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So you made Gudgel an intolerant, crooked, scheming guy, right? And
Yes,
and of course the book deals with those issues. Why did you decide to write a novel about this kind of stuff?
because I think you can do a lot of things with fiction that you don't do with nonfiction.
Right.
With fiction, you can say things or show dramatic things. You can show the ills of a right-wing autocracy, and you can create people, real characters that the readers can identify with, and you can see the bad things happening to these good people. Fiction has the power to immerse people in a character, to elicit emotional reactions, which is what I try to do. And these are things that just simply listing facts can't do. It's creating people that the readers can identify with and see what's happening to them and feel something for them. And that's what I hope to do. Let me say, if I can, I try to write the kind of books that I like to read. I
Okay.
like to read mysteries that have a lot of twists and turns and clues and lots of suspects to
Right.
get the reader thinking, and that appeals to your head.
Right.
But I also appreciate mysteries that move fairly quickly, that put the protagonist in peril at times through challenges, and that appeals to your heart. So I try my for my books to appeal to both your head and your heart, and in this case also to make you laugh, because my main character, one of my two main characters, Lyle Deming, has a wry sense of humor, and I use that to break up some of the times that are fairly dark in the story.
Yeah, I think you did a hell of a job, though. I think you achieved your objectives when it comes to that. I really enjoyed the book. And the first part, I really liked the opening where you were talking about the governor and how he claimed that this horrible murder was not a hate crime and so on and so forth. I just thought it was a great way to get into that story.
He's vindictive and he's has gripes all the time about bad things that are happening to him, not to somebody else. Does that
Yeah.
remind you of somebody? And so that kind of was part of my plan, the grievance philosophy of our president, essentially.
When did you start writing this book?
I wrote this book obviously before the election.
Yeah.
Write that fast. Takes me about a year to write a book. So,
Uh-huh.
but I knew that if Trump were elected, bad things were going to happen. I know they'd be this bad. So I wanted to take a character that symbolized a lot of the bad things and show my protagonists going after them and appealing and letting the reader see that this person is going to maybe get his comeuppance because these people are digging things up about him.
Okay. I was trying to think of some kind of a play on Governor Gudgel's name right there, but it didn't come to mind.
Let me,
Anyway, go ahead.
if I can, let me emphasize something, Bob.
Uh,
This book is fiction, and I make up everything in it. I try to make it realistic, but in fact, the governor of Arizona is Katie Hobbs, and she is a Democrat. She's doing great things for the state,
Uh-huh.
uh, and she has nothing to do with Rod Gudgel.
Good thing you said that because I wouldn't want anybody to get the wrong impression. Because Gudgel's a nasty SOB, I think. I just really do. You did a
Yeah,
good job of making him a bad guy.
there's a lot of bad examples of that out, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm afraid. All right. Now I want to know what you think. I don't know if you've given any thought to this, but what do you think MAGA people will think about your book? Do you think they'll think that it's unfair, unrepresentative of political conservatives? What do you think?
I really don't care.
I really like that because I've had people on who have moderate liberal people,
Uh,
authors, who
uh-huh.
have said, I don't really want to say that because I don't want to turn off potential book buyers. I want people on the right and the left to buy my book. You at least are honest enough to say you don't give a shit.
I asked myself the question back when I was in the middle of writing this book,
Right.
and that was the answer that I came up with. And I didn't want to, I don't know, fudge the story or there's a part in the book where Kate Sorensen, my one of my two protagonists,
Yeah.
is talking to an old newspaper reporter, and she's saying, "Here's all the bad things this guy has done. There must be something redeeming qualities about him."
Right.
And so here's where I could have done that, but I didn't give him redeeming qualities.
All right. So you don't really care then if ultra conservatives want to buy your book or not.
Certainly, I would love everybody to buy my book. Come
Well,
on.
sure. Yeah.
But I think it would be the best thing for them to, for the right-wing folks to buy one for their liberal neighbors and friends.
Maybe they might learn a little bit about what woke really is and realize it's not so bad.
Of course, that is the underlying
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about where our country stands today? I just wonder what you think about that.
It's darker than my book, the picture my book paints of the Huey Long type of governor in Arizona. It's darker than things that have happened before. I'm one of those people that sometimes is afraid to turn on the news.
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, I'm a journalist my whole life, and I've been a news addict. And I can't watch the news at night anymore. I can't go to sleep if I watch the news. So I listen to music instead.
Same here. That's one of the reasons why I wrote this book in the Dead is because I was able to channel these feelings and these doubts and these worries that I've had into my characters, Lyle and Kate.
Yeah.
And they, as they debate some of these things back and forth, book and try to rationalize it, but they have something concrete they can do with this governor. There are some concrete things we can do, but as citizens of the United States, but they seem to be shrinking.
Yeah, Democrats seem to me at a loss as to know quite what to do. Got any advice for them?
Do more. I have written, I don't live in Arizona, incidentally. I picked Arizona because I need the theme park is gigantic, and I
Right.
picked a place where there would be lots of inexpensive land that could be bought up by a Las Vegas casino owner who ultimately built Nostalgia City, and place would have decent weather. And I also picked it because it's near, I put the theme park near Route 66, which of course harkens back to the era as well. I'm sorry, where was I going?
What'd you say?
What was the question?
I don't know. I forgot.
Oh, I know about what I would say to politicians. And I would
Oh, yeah,
say,
yeah, that's right.
I don't live in Arizona where they have some fine people running the government and senators and so on. I live in Nevada and we have two Democrat senators, women, and I write them once a week. And that's
Do
what I
you?
say. I say, do more.
Oh, good. That's good. All right. What exactly, besides getting rich, do you want to achieve with your book?
What do I want to achieve?
Yeah.
Main purpose of all of my books is to entertain readers.
Okay.
I want them to enjoy the story all the way along. It's not about ideology, it's about entertainment. I write my books also to entertain myself. And
Okay.
I thought this would be really entertaining for people like me who lean to the left and would like to see a heinous person like Gudgel get his comeuppance. I'm not saying he does. You have to read the book to find out, but a lot of things happen. So that's the reason I write and the reason I wrote this book.
All right. So you're not really trying to, I don't know, be some kind of a evangelist against Trump or anything like that. You're just working on being an entertaining novelist. And
No, I think all good writers want to change the world,
yeah,
and I do. And
okay.
so I hope that some of the things that I've written, and this book in particular, The Woke and the Dead, does that. But again, if that were my main purpose, it wouldn't be fiction. It wouldn't be something that I'd be proud of. It would just be a diatribe. And I want to entertain people, but I
All
also
right.
want to show them what's going on and some ways you can deal with it.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's really,
that can be entertaining to people on the left and people in the middle and maybe some people on the right.
yeah.
But if the people on the right don't buy it, that's fine.
They need to. It's a good book. It's entertaining. Come on, don't be so. Anyway, so where is it? It's on Amazon, right? Where else?
It is available on Amazon both in print and ebook, but it's also available on ebook for Barnes& and Noble Kobo, Barnes& and Noble Nook, I should say, for Kobo, for Apple if you want to read it on your iPod or iPad,
Uh,
iPhone or iPad. It's available that way. It's also available in other countries, and you can get it at your bookstore, but you'll probably have to order it rather because I'm not John Grisham and they're not likely to stock it.
yeah, exactly. I understand that. Okay. You got anything else you'd like to add, Mark?
I wanted the book to be accessible, and I did this a little differently. I've got 5 books in this series, but I wrote this one as much as any of the books to be a standalone so that anybody could pick it up and read it, not having read the earlier books.
Right.
I have a setting, which is this giant theme park. I have 2 characters. I have Lyle Deming, an ex-cop, and Kate Sorensen, a 6'2" beauty who does PR for the park. But I introduced them and I introduced the setting as the story goes along, and the story moves along pretty quickly, as I think you figured out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't have to have read all my other books to get it. And because of the political nature of this, that was one of the reasons why I made it a standalone. So everybody can pick it up and get the message.
Well, it is a quick and easy read. It is entertaining. So I can vouch for that. And you guys, you should pick this book up. And by the way, I'll have a link, an Amazon link, in the description of this episode. So you can just click on that if you want to go that route. It'll be easy for you to do. Marks, thank you so much. I do appreciate you being with us on Lean to the Left. If you got any closing comments, now's your time.
I think we pretty much covered everything
Okay.
in what I wanted to do with the book.
Okay.
And yeah,
Good. All right. Thank you very much.
thanks for having me, Bob.
Hey guys, I'm Bob Gaddy, founder and host of Lean to the Left. I'm excited to share our new book, Hijack Nation, Donald Trump's Attack on America's Greatness, co-authored with political analyst and professor C.J. Waldron. In Hijack Nation, we delve into the unfolding story of America's political landscape through a series of essays from leantotheleft.net. We explore how Donald Trump's presidency has transformed American politics, challenging our values and institutions. Hijack Nation isn't just a book, it's a call to action. It invites you to reflect on what it means to be American in a divided political landscape. Together we can reclaim our nation's greatness. So get your copy of Hijack Nation today. Visit leantotheleft.net and click on the Books tab to learn more and to order.